Hi everyone, it's Jeff Mitosu Crafts. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to the Global Stampin Video Hop with the theme of Step Up Your Card Making using Stampin Up bundles or suites. So today I am creating a card using the Splendid Day Suite, and that includes the Splendid Thoughts stamp set. It coordinates with the Splendid Stems die, so you can see that the stamp set fits into the dies as well as some of the sentiments as well, and you can even use the offcuts in some of the larger leaves. I'm also gonna use the Timber 3D embossing folder, and from the suite you have the soft seafoam seam binding ribbon. It also has the open leaf trinkets, which is really nice, but as I'm making a card, I won't be using this, but I'll be using another metallic embellishment, which is the brushed metallic adhesive back dots. And of course, being a suite, it normally coordinates with designer series paper. So this one is the Splendid Day designer series paper, and you have specialty papers here which are foiled, so nice and shiny. That one's got soft seafoam, I think. That one's fresh freesia. You have, I think that looks like silver, soft seafoam but pastel colors, which I love, and that one is copper. So I will be using paper for my card, as you can see, but for the ink pads I will be using Memento, soft seafoam, Calypso coral, and fresh freesia. Now you can step up your card making using the colors from the suite, and it already on the DSP pack for you, so always use that as your inspiration as well, so you know it all coordinates with the paper and the other things that's the other items that's in the suite. So for my card base, I have basic thick white 21 centimeters by 14 centimeters folded in half, or that's 8¼ by 5½ inches. For stamping, just normal basic white. I have a piece of another basic white. This is for my sentiment. It is 5.7 centimeters by 9 centimeters, or 2¼ by 3½. I have a piece of petal pink, which also coordinates with the suite, 9.5 centimeters by 2.5, or 3¾ inch by 1 inches. And for my DSP, it's 9.5 centimeters by 13.5, or 3¾ inch by 5/1/8 inch. And that one is just to cover the, so nice and easy. That's 1 centimeter less than the card front, or 3/8 inch smaller than the card front. And I have just a piece of the seam binding ribbon there as well. So with the die cutting, I have gone ahead. I have used another DSP. So as you can see here, I've used one of the dies, which is that one, to cut out this lovely copper shape there. I don't know if you can see how shiny that is, and I quite like it that it's got the design on there as well. I've also gone ahead and die cut this in Pool Party, so that is the die for that. So that's just gonna add texture, or even more texture, to the card, and I'll be using that for when I do my stamping. So I'm gonna stamp this and have it as my topper in Memento, and just ink that up. So if you have a bigger piece, bigger stamp, it's just easier to turn it over and ink it up this way. Just make sure that that fits in your paper. There we go. And from the stamp, now there is some lovely kind of like filler on here, but it doesn't actually fill in the ink, the line images. It's just supposed to be quite a nice background stamping on there. I will be using that on for the background, but with this one, because I'm gonna die cut it, I do want it to fill it in. So with soft sea foam, I will fill that image up in. So I'm gonna ink this up a few times and actually move my stamping around until I'm happy with the image being covered. And what this does, because the soft sea foam is quite light, it adds more texture as you add in another layer of stamp on there. So I'm just gonna hit that last piece there. So that is done, and I quite like that it's not overly covered. So I'm gonna die cut that with the coordinating die. And another tip for you is, if you do have a die like this with the dot underneath there, you can check that you can see the stamp image and line up your leaves as well. So I'll be using the cut and emboss machine with that one, and I have got some more stamping to do. So for the background, I'm gonna use this one, and I'm gonna do tone on tone stamping. So that looks like fresh freesia. I've got fresh freesia here. Ink that up. I'll just add another piece of paper there and just do some random stamping on the background. Again, it's really light, but it adds more interest onto the design. It's already got some lovely line images on there, but what I'm doing is changing the look of it just by stamping tone on tone just across the page. There we go. So you can just about see that, which is quite nice. Again, subtle hints there. For my sentiment, now because the die cut is copper, I had to think of different way to do the sentiment. So I will be using this paper here, and you can use different sentiment, of course, but I quite like the much love, and I'm gonna use sticky tape to mask that off as well. So just mask off the sentiment that you don't want inked up. I'm gonna use Calypso Coral, ink that up, and take off your masking tape. That is important because you don't want to have Calypso Coral all over your paper. And because it is red rubber stamp, so just make sure that when you put that on your acrylic block, just make sure it's nice and straight. And then I'm just gonna put this down quite low down. There we go. So I've just used whatever sentiment I needed, and for that I will emboss that with again the cut and emboss machine. So this is the timber as mentioned earlier, but I prefer actually the back side of it. So do check your timber embossing folder. So it's normally the front side is where the Stampin' Up logo is, but because I want the deboss side, I've turned it over and put my paper where the sentiment is that way, and I'm gonna run that through the cut and emboss machine. Okay, So ready to construct our card. I'm gonna break up that DSP with the strip of petal pink, and that's just gonna get added on flat using your favorite adhesive. So I'm gonna use Tombow. And that's just gonna get added on. You can stamp on the paper as well, the petal pink one, but I'm just gonna add that on, and then I'm gonna use that to break up even more. So just at the back, just add on there and add this on. So just enough so you can still see the petal pink, but it's a nice detail again. And that's just gonna get added on the card base. I do like this side as well, but with the I wanted the plants to stand out more, or the plant even. And this is gonna get added on straight down. Turn it over. There we go. And for the sentiment, that's gonna get added on there. That's gonna get propped up, and that's gonna go there. Okay, so that's just gonna be added flat on. You can use dimensionals if you want more height onto your card. But I think that is fine with a bit of hint on the left hand side. So that's gonna get added on. You can easily step up your card making just using the bundle and the suite especially, and using the products to inspire your card making. I'm gonna add that on there with dimensionals. Ooh, flying dimensional. So with these two, I'm gonna use dimensionals, mini dimensionals, and I've already added those on. I'm just gonna make sure that that's straight. I will have this coming out, and then just have that down. Will you fit? If the dimensional is in the way, you could always cut that down. There we go. And there we go. And finally, we're gonna add the brush metallic adhesive back dots. So I'm gonna use the copper, small copper, just on top here, because we've already got the copper down there. I think that works fine. I quite like my twos sometimes, but there we go. That is my step up card making tips for you using the Splendid Day Suite. You can even step it up further if you love your coloring. So I have a piece here. This one I use Stampin' Blends markers, so that can be added on, or you can even play around with your dies as well. So this one I shortened it to create smaller pots like so, and again I use my Stampin' Blends marker to color that in, so you can see how smaller that is, so you can have smaller potted plant. I hope you enjoyed this card for the Global Stampin Video Hop. You can find the next video link in the description below, as well as the products that I've used today. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and share. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time, bye!